pointed to some youth in the village mistaking the soldier for an armed robber who was lynched. New twists, however, are emerging to the cause of his actual death, whilst police say they have upped their investigations. 42 people have been arrested and charged with murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Legal practitioner Justice Srem Sai says the nature of the case and twists emerging calls for a commission of inquiry to delve into the case. Justice Sai is joining us on the telephone lines now. Good evening, sir. We're grateful for your time. Should there be a broader inquiry into the issues surrounding the murder of the captain, and why?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere condolences to the family of the late captain, particularly the widow. On the issue of broader inquiry, I think there are about 3 reasons why I believe that there should be a broader form of inquiry beyond the prosecution that is ongoing. The first one is about national security. The issues coming up clearly shows that there are more to what we know than just a mob, action. And we could see this from, first of all, the narration by the district chief executive of the area. We could see this from the subsequent, comments that former military officers have been giving on the issue. And I think recently there is a radio audio going around where there are other issues of previous attempts, at the lives of other military officers, whether true or not. There are issues going around. And I think this touches on national security issues. We are in an era where terrorism has become something that no one can just ignore. And even within the sub-region, talk about Mali, talk about Nigeria, just across, terrorists are making inroads into the region. And you could see that incidents of this nature would create an impression that there are weaknesses in our security system. And that is exactly what terrorists are interested in. So one of the soldiers, made a comment at Bema camp when they met their chief of defense staff. He said, the military is the last resort. And that is true. Our very constitutional framework, put the military at the last resort and put national security as a very important element. And the issues coming up, if we really want to deal with the issues and to prepare our military for the future or for the next generation, then we cannot just limit the discussion surrounding this event to the prosecution of the few people who are involved in this. Secondly, apart from national security, we still have public records and information. One cardinal principle under democracy is civilian control of the military. That is why you see the president, who is supposed to be a civilian, being the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Also, the taxpayers' money is what the military rides on. So in a democracy as ours, then it becomes very necessary that whatever is happening within the military should be made known to the public. And I'm sure even in your work, you probably have had difficulties getting direct information from the military. This is a challenge because then it puts all of us in a disadvantaged position, knowing what to do going forward. But the military and the work they do is not about the soldiers that form the military. It is about the majority of us who are civilians and who rely on the military for our very survival. Now, if we are talking of national justice, then we need, as a people, to know what exactly is happening in the military and what has caused this to happen to this young captain. So the issue I am looking at is not necessarily the issue about the captain's death alone, but it seems there is something other than what we are seeing. There is something going on in the military itself. Now, we have heard so many versions of the story. Some are coming from politicians. But what we have not heard is that technical, professional, view of the event. Now, if you ask me what forms of inquiry this should take, I'm looking at two options. I'm looking at a parliamentary committee inquiry, which would have officers of the Ghana Armed Forces, not politicians, not the Minister for Defense, to come and tell the people of Ghana and our representatives what exactly is going on as far as this issue is concerned.
But won't you say that such an inquiry is likely to be prejudicial to the case of those standing trial?
Yes, so I would admit that point, but that depends on the nature of the inquiry. Depends on the focus of the inquiry, and it also depends on the extent of the inquiry. So I agree with you that it is possible that the nature of the inquiry that may be had would prejudice the trial that is going on. But if the nature of the inquiry and the one that I'm looking at is one that would inquire into the military arrangement, I took my time to review certain processes, other jurisdictions and how deployment activities happen. And I think when it comes to deployment of military officers, there are rules as to, for example, what military officers wear, where they should go, how far they should go from camp. Even there are detailed rules that govern their family members who are at home as to what information to give out, when to go out, and how to even relate with the public.
Right.
I have tried to find out if such, rules are present in our military.
Right.
I've not concluded my investigations yet. But I think if we want to actually prevent further occurrences or future occurrences of
then such a commission of inquiry is critical.
Yeah, we need that inquiry to be able to know as a people and to strategize going forward in these turbulent times of terrorism and all that. National security.
Beyond the setting up of the commission of inquiry to look into this matter, there are also the basics of how this case is being handled generally. There have been concerns that these suspects are all bundled into one vehicle when they first had their appearance in court. Critics have expressed worry that this could give them the platform to unify their stories, whether it's concocted or not, so that they present a strong case against the prosecution. Is this something that, as a lawyer, bothers you?
Thank you very much. As I have acted as defense counsel for accused persons, and my law of evidence also tells me that what you have just mentioned is a real challenge, because I don't want to sound more knowledgeable than the police officers who are the competent police officers who are handling this issue. But you and I know that when people are put together and are supposed to be suffering this, they may decide to straighten up their stories. And one of the things that help, defense lawyers to succeed is when evidence is not straight from the prosecution. So if these persons who are supposed to be suspects or accused persons are put together, the likelihood of their connivance to straighten up their story and make it impossible for any prosecutor to penetrate is real. So I think that going forward, if we really want to have a very effective, prosecution, I think it will be necessary that we take steps to avoid this bundling of people together who are facing similar or same charges.
Right, Justice Sai, we're grateful for your time. Justice Srem Sai is a private legal practitioner, and this is still News at 10. We're more news for you. Please stay. 200,000 smallholder farmers under the Planting for Food and Jobs program. According to him, even though the farming season has set in, the total number of farmers registered under the program is not encouraging. Hence, more farmers need to be registered if the government will meet its target. Dr. Nura Jiele disclosed this in Bolgatanga in the Upper East region during a meeting with all municipal and district directors of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture on the status of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Dr. Nura said the over 54,000 farmers registered under the program from the 3 regions of the north is against a target of 200,000 was a challenge to the program. Dr. Nura Ajiele is Minister of State. He's joining us on the telephone lines now. Good evening, Doc, and we're grateful. Can you update us on the number of people that have so far enrolled on the program as of today?
Good evening, and good evening to your cherished viewers. First, let me correct a few issues there.
That's right.
I think there is a bit of mix-up. The program was held in Tamale, where I briefed the municipal chief executives, coordinating directors, and directors of agriculture. Now, it was on the registration, particularly for the northern region. The target of 200,000 is for the whole country, not for the 3 northern regions.
Okay. That's fair.
So,
thanks for the correction.
Yeah. And
but let's put it on record. There is still a difficulty of getting more farmers to register to help government meet their target. Is that what it is?
Not exactly. We have a lot of farmers registered in other regions of the country, and there's no difficulty at all in getting the farmers. What I said about struggling to get farmers was with specific reference to northern region. I said northern region is about the largest region when you come to agricultural land. And you have a lot of farmers in northern region. It is northern region, Brong-Ahafo and Ashanti that you can say are the high agricultural areas. So I was saying that with a target of 200,000 for the whole country, I was expecting northern region to have an over-proportionate representation in this 200,000.
Okay, that's fair.
But
Doc,
then the figures that have come out, northern region is having only 14,000.
14,000.
As against Upper East region, which is the smallest region, which has registered 23,000. Upper West region is also very small, and it has registered 17,000. I therefore said I don't see the reason why northern region should be registering only 14,000.
Okay.
When we were expecting them to get about 35,000. So I was informing the directors that maybe they haven't created enough awareness of the farmers. The information hasn't gotten to the farmers. And so I said I didn't see why they should be struggling to get numbers like the Upper East and Upper West are getting.
Interesting, but let's go back to the basics. I wanted to find out exactly how many people have registered so far onto the program, and whether there are any difficulty in the registration at all.
Countrywide, or you mean for the 3 northern regions?
No, I mean for the entire country, if you know. Out of the 200,000 target we are seeking to achieve countrywide, you just clarified that the northern region figure you stated didn't represent the entire country or even the entire northern part of the country. What's the situation, the status of the program nationwide?
Out of the 200,000 targeted, we have so far registered a little over 130,000. Which that is for the major season. So the second season is going to begin in July, August for the rest of the southern sector.
Okay.
Where we are now expecting to register the rest. But for this major season, we've already registered over 130,000.
Okay. And are there a particular category of farmers you're mostly registering, or everyone qualifies?
We're registering mostly the peasant farmers, that is the small-scale farmers. That is up to about 10 acres, and that is about 4 hectares.
Right. So moving on, I mean, in the northern region, as you said, are there any programs which the ministry is putting in place to encourage more people in the northern region to come forward and register?
Yes, a lot. Actually, that is why I am currently in the northern region. We called the DCEs and the coordinating directors and the agri officers, agri directors, so that they will go back and use radio to sensitize the people. Because chiefs in the region have actually come down to Accra to say that their farmers, nobody has come forward to register the farmers in their villages. And that is why I had to follow up the northern region to tell them that it looks like farmers in so many areas in the northern region are still not aware of this program. And so they should make the effort to go around and sensitize the people using the radio and other means of communication.
And we'd like to know whether your team is aware of what is accounting for the lack of interest among farmers in the northern region.
Again, I want to repeat that there is a great interest in the northern region. For those areas where information has gotten through, we are getting huge numbers.
So the problem is lack of information. Information is not reaching them.
It is not reaching them.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right, Doc, we're grateful for your time. Thank you very much for joining us. This is News at 10. We're live from the News Hub here in Accra, and you can hear us on 3FM 92.7. Let's move away from that. The Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Catherine Afeku, has denied reports that the invisible forces were in charge of the Kintampo waterfalls when the accident occurred, which killed some students and others. She was answering questions on the floor of Parliament.
The minister said the reports of the committee investigating the accident will soon be made public. Answering questions from MPs, Catherine Afeku said at the time the incident happened, the Municipal Assembly was in charge of security at the fall, debunking reports that invincible forces had taken over the place. Minister of Communication, Esla Owusu Ekufu, was also in the House to answer questions on steps the ministry is taking to improve telecommunication connectivity in less privileged communities.
3 out of the 6 mobile network service providers operating in Ghana have full 2G and 3G services in Adaplu. The other 3 service providers, namely Airtel, Glo, and Kasapa, have been directed by the National Communications Authority to provide coverage at Adaplu and its surrounding environs within 6 months or be sanctioned.
What is the time frame for this objective, especially in Issa, which is the district capital for Dasemabuse Issa district in the Upper West region?
They are not giving any specific time frame within which to do that, but they work with the National Communications Authority to achieve that. And so when they bring their rollout plan and it is not adequate, and then they can work with them and work with the GIFEC as well to also ensure that they meet those obligations.
And floodwaters are yet to recede from 20 homes in Community 18, Cambodia, after Monday's downpour. 10 families have been rendered homeless after a private developer allegedly blocked a watercourse in the area. Josephine Frimpong has more.
The rains are here again, exposing poor drainage and buildings sited in flood-prone areas and waterways.
More than 20 homes here at Community 8 in Cambodia. Water has still flooded their homes. Some are at the lintel level, some at the window level, some had to scale the wall, others had to wade through the water. I need to descend through this ladder before I go through the water and speak to the family. They have not had a good sleep since 2 a.m. So we'll be speaking to the owner of this house to tell us exactly what happened here Monday dawn.
We've been awake trying to save our lives and some of our properties.
Elikem had to skip school today because of the situation. Unlike this family, several people in the neighborhood had to be rescued by NADMO and the police.
This place used to be a river. 2 years ago, somebody decided to come and fill it up and use the place for a shopping mall. So he filled the water all the way beyond that container. And since then, anytime it rains, this place gets flooded. So last night or this dawn, it started raining.